to the Open Scoring MMA podcast. No secrets, no bias, just the real fight game. Let's get ready.
Welcome to Open Scoring MMA. This is episode 43 for July 31st, 2026. Your daily look at what's happening now and next across the world of MMA and UFC. So the big news hitting the combat sports world this week, Nora, is the massive merger between the Professional Fighters League and Jake Paul's Most Valuable Promotions. This is a huge shakeup.
It absolutely is, Duke. The PFL CEO, Peter Murray, called it more than just a business deal.
And Jake Paul, of course, is right there talking about how this accelerates his vision. He's been very vocal about disrupting the combat sports landscape.
He has. Paul said, quote, "Joining forces with PFL accelerates that vision by a decade. We now have a scaled platform to give today's fans what they want. Elite talent mixed with culture, lifestyle, and massive social velocity." End quote. It's clear they're aiming for a broader appeal beyond just the traditional fight fan.
That's a pretty bold statement, especially the part about AI increasing the value of live experiences. It's a different angle than what we usually hear in MMA.
It is. He also added, quote, "Joining forces with PFL accelerates that vision by a decade. We now have a scaled platform to give today's fans what they want. Elite talent mixed with culture, lifestyle, and massive social velocity." End quote. It's clear they're aiming for a broader appeal beyond just the traditional fight fan.
So what does this actually mean for the PFL? Are we going to see more crossover events, more influencer fights on their cards?
It's certainly a possibility. The PFL has been building its roster and global reach, and MVP brings a different kind of star power and a proven track record of attracting a younger, more digitally native audience. It could mean a significant boost in visibility and potentially fighter pay, which is something Paul has always championed.
It's an interesting play. You've got the established MMA promotion merging with a brand built on social media and celebrity. It could either be brilliant or a complete mess. I'm leaning towards brilliant, honestly.
It's definitely a high-stakes gamble, but the potential upside for both entities is considerable. It could redefine how combat sports are marketed and consumed.
Speaking of big names, Khamzat Chimaev is making headlines again, and not just for his UFC fights. He's set to headline a wrestling event in Russia.
That's right, Duke. We're hearing that Chimaev will be facing former UFC champion Tyron Woodley in a wrestling match for the Real American Freestyle League in Moscow on September 5th. It's quite the pairing.
Woodley? That's a name I haven't heard in a while. So Chimaev is really keeping himself busy outside the octagon.
He is. And it's not just the wrestling. Chimaev has also been very vocal about wanting a rematch with Sean Strickland.
Oh, I saw that. Strickland even commented on it. He said, quote, "Y'all keep asking me when I'm going to fight again," end quote. It sounds like Chimaev's persistence might be paying off.
It seems to be. Chimaev's outspokenness may have secured him a shot at redemption. Word is, Strickland is clearly hungry for revenge.
So, we've got Chimaev wrestling Woodley, and then potentially a rematch with Strickland in the UFC. The man's got a full plate.
He does. It shows he's committed to staying active and relevant across different combat sports disciplines, which is a smart move for building his brand.
All right, let's talk about the PFL.
Yes, SureDog's live coverage for PFL New York starts Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a significant card for the PFL, especially with the recent merger news.
We're hearing about some of the matchups on the card.
It's a crucial fight for many of the men as they look to advance in the PFL's lightweight division.
That's interesting. I'll have to check out what the crowd is saying about it. They usually have some strong opinions.
They do. It's always good to see the fan engagement around these events.
Moving on to the UFC, we've got UFC Belgrade coming up. We're hearing that a welterweight bout featuring a number 13 ranked fighter is set to headline that card.
That's correct. The 28 fighters competing on Saturday's UFC Belgrade card will weigh in on Friday in Belgrade, Serbia. This marks the first time the promotion has held an event in Serbia.
That's a big step for the UFC, expanding into new territories. We'll wait and see who the number 13 ranked welterweight is facing, but it's a welterweight bout.
It is, and it's a significant event for the region, showcasing the UFC's continued global expansion efforts.
Now, there's been some chatter about UFC 330, and we're hearing about a potential main event between Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Gary. Dustin Poirier weighed in on it.
He did. Poirier gave an honest breakdown to Low Kick MMA. He said, quote, "He can use the footwork to keep the distance, but he has to win the rounds," end quote.
That's a pretty direct assessment. He's basically saying Gary can't just run around.
Exactly. Poirier continued, quote, "That's the only way Ian wins this fight is landing a shot standing up, hurting him. You have to land some kind of shot. You have to do some kind of damage. You can't just run the whole time throwing a jab and expect to win the round against a guy who's pushing you against the fence." End quote.
So he's not giving Gary much of a chance to win on points then.
Not at all. He concluded, quote, "I don't think he's going to win a decision, and I don't think he's going to submit him. He has to finish him." End quote. Poirier believes Gary's only path to victory is a knockout.
That's a tough ask against Makhachev, who's known for his incredible grappling and durability.
It is, and it highlights the challenge Gary faces against a dominant champion like Makhachev.
But not everyone agrees with Poirier. Diego Lima, a shootbox coach, is predicting a knockout for Gary.
That's right. Lima believes Ian Gary will shock the MMA world by knocking out Islam Makhachev in their upcoming fight. It's a bold prediction given Makhachev's track record.
It certainly is. It shows there's a real split in opinion on how this fight might play out, which makes it even more intriguing.
Absolutely. It's what makes these big fights so compelling.
And speaking of intriguing, our own Paddy Pimblett is getting some love. His UFC 329 fight kit actually sold for more than Max Holloway's.
It did. Reportedly, Paddy's signed UFC 329 jersey closed at $5,050, topping Holloway's $4,000 jersey. It shows the incredible fan engagement he generates.
That's amazing. The baddie's popularity is just through the roof. $5,050 for a jersey? That's a serious fan base right there.
It really is. His appeal continues to grow, and that's reflected in the value of his memorabilia.
And he's even talking about other fighters' skill sets. He admitted he wishes he could wrestle like another UFC star, not even Makhachev.
Yes, Paddy Pimblett has admitted he desires another fellow UFC fighter's skill set in the octagon more than Islam Makhachev's world-class wrestling ability. He didn't specify who, but it's interesting that he's looking beyond the obvious.
That's a humble take from Paddy. It shows he's always looking to improve, even with his massive popularity.
It does. It speaks to his dedication to the sport.
All right, let's shift gears a little. Magomed Ankalaev's recent win over Bogdan Guskov seems to have actually hurt his chances for a title shot, according to some.
That's the read from some, including Paulo Costa, who's a direct competitor in the light heavyweight division. Despite the victory, Ankalaev's performance in the UFC Abu Dhabi main event seems to have worked against his campaign for a title shot.
So, a win isn't always a win if it's not a dominant enough performance, especially in a stacked division like light heavyweight.
Precisely. In the title race, sometimes it's not just about getting the win, but how you get it. The perception of dominance plays a huge role.
And that's why Costa and others are putting Borrachinha ahead of Ankalaev in the title race.
They are. The narrative around who deserves the next shot can shift quickly based on recent performances and the overall impression left on fans and matchmakers.
Let's talk about UFC Vegas 120. 2 more fights have been added to that card.
Yes, the UFC has added 2 more bouts to UFC Vegas 120, scheduled for August 8th. The card is now up to 11 bouts, headlined by Mateusz Gamrot.
Gamrot is always a fun fighter to watch. It's good to see that card filling out.
It's shaping up to be a solid fight night, providing more opportunities for fighters to climb the ranks.
Okay, Nora, it's time for our OSM Pick of the Week. What's the model telling us?
All right, Duke. This week, our system is looking at a fight where we have strong confidence in one competitor.
Okay.
We've got Mustafa Diakate to win with an 80% probability.
80%? That's a strong call.
It is. The betting line implies around 74%, so we're higher than the market on this one.
So this is a value pick for us.
Absolutely. We like it more than the line does.
What are the top reasons for that strong confidence?
The top reasons are form and finishing ability. Both favor Diakate significantly.
So the eye test and the numbers are aligning on this one.
They are. Diakate's recent performances and his ability to finish fights are really standing out in the data.
That's a solid pick then. I'm with the model on this one.
Good to hear.
And finally, Dana White faced some criticism after the UFC Belgrade press conference.
He did. Dana White's response to a question during the UFC Belgrade press conference sparked criticism from fans online. It's not uncommon for his comments to draw strong reactions.
Yeah, he's never one to shy away from a controversial statement. It sounds like this one really got the fans talking.
It certainly did. The online community was quick to voice their opinions on his remarks.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, Nora. Another packed show.
Always a pleasure, Duke.
For Nora, I'm Duke. We'll catch you next time on Open Scoring MMA. Before you go, 2 quick things. Check out our free fight tracker at tracker.openscoringmma.com with every upcoming UFC and PFL card, live odds, and where to watch all in one place. And follow us on YouTube. Just search Open Scoring MMA for breaking news alerts, fight breakdowns, and videos you won't get here on the feed. That's it for today's Open Scoring MMA. Keep your hands up, and we'll see you next time.